Hi everyone, Mon here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you subscribers who are watching my videos, and thanks for liking. Please subscribe if you're new, and pop a comment in the comment box. It's a good topic today. It's all about the Scorpio full moon. And the full moon happens when the sun is in Taurus and the moon is full in Scorpio. So there's an opposition there. So straight off the bat, we would say that Scorpios, Tauruses, Leos, and Aquariuses, all the fixed signs, are affected by this energy. There's no doubt about that. Or if you have stelliums in any of those fixed signs, okay. It's also WESAK, and I love WESAK. Even though this is a very tough full moon, I'd say it's the toughest full moon. Yes, I would say it's the toughest full moon, Scorpio, because it runs so deep. It also celebrates every year the Buddha's birthday and the Buddha's enlightenment, okay? And that means a lot to me. I find it very interesting that the Buddha celebrates a Taurus birthday, because Taurus is all about our desires. It's ruled by Venus. It's an earth sign, so it's about our earthly desires, right? Now, what was the Buddha's message all about? The Buddha's message was about the reason the Buddha went and left his beautiful, rich kingdom and his family and went up into the cave to meditate is because he wanted to find out what caused suffering in the world. And after many years of sitting in silence and allowing all the shadows to come up, which is Scorpio, the opposition to Taurus, he came to enlightenment, and enlightenment, even to this day, for us mere humans, is that the cause of suffering is attachment to our desires, which is Taurus. I'm not saying Taurus gets attached to the desires, but Taurus desires earthly things because it gives Taurus a sense of security. And we all have Taurus somewhere in our chart, and we all desire security as human beings, especially the fixed signs, because the fixed signs are a little stubborn and they don't budge well when change comes about, okay? They dig their heels in when change is needed. So the Buddha's birthday, the Buddha's enlightenment, Taurus birthday, and then opposing this full moon in Scorpio. What does that have to do with earthly desires? Well, the emotional security given by achieving all those earthly desires gives a sense of power. And Pluto rules Scorpio. Venus rules Taurus. And so my video today is all about Pluto, because we've got some transit. Pluto will retrograde early this month, and Pluto is front and center on stage now, okay? We've had all that stellium energy in Aries, and Pluto has had sextiles from that stellium in Aries, and now we're going into a few more squares, all right? Now, the full moon is at 11 degrees and 21 minutes, full in Scorpio. There's no hard aspects or close aspects. There's aspects, but they're a wide orb, okay? So generally for everybody, it's as the collective, it's doesn't look so bad. However, the moon in Scorpio, it runs very, very deep, okay? And if you've got Scorpio placements, there's always this death, transformation, and rebirth to the old self while living in this body. The full moon will be early in the morning, Saturday morning in Australia, Sydney time. It'll be at 3:23 a.m. And that will be Friday the 1st of May for the Northern Hemisphere, but the 2nd of May here in Sydney, early in the morning. And I felt this energy come in last week. It took me a few days to process. It happens every year because Pluto is my 4th house ruler, and the 4th house is all about roots and family. And as you know, if you've been on this channel, I don't have any of them left anymore, not one of them. And that was due to my Pluto conjunct my natal sun in Capricorn transit. And also being a Capricorn and coming from a family of karma. Everyone was born with the numerological value of 8, and 8 can be family karma when a fair few people in the family were born on either the 8th, 17th, or 26th, okay? So I've had my fair share of Pluto, okay? And it seems now, this channel was actually started on Pluto energy, and it seems now that I'm ready to head back into looking at Pluto again. And I know a lot of you are receiving those Pluto transits now that it's in Aquarius. So what we've had happen. So, one other thing. With Taurus, Taurus's desires for security and Pluto's desires bringing power, you know, Pluto is also known as the plutocracy. So it's big money. It's money, Scorpio, and it is earthly desires in Taurus. All right. So that's what we're dealing with. But above all of that, Pluto in Aquarius is meaning that we're all in a dark night of the soul as a collective. Okay, so we are all being asked to die, transform, and rebirth from our old selves. In my case, the roots of my ancestors, the transformation and the rebirth for them on behalf of them. I take that responsibility. So we've already had Venus square Pluto. So Venus in Taurus squared Pluto on the 3rd of April. And we've also had the Sun square Pluto on the 25th of April. So not too long ago. Now, amongst all of the personal planets squaring Pluto, we also, once they move into Gemini, they trine Pluto. And Pluto is stationing retrograde very soon. So when Pluto retrogrades, it's already been over all that area. We've already experienced that energy. We may not have yet integrated the transformation required, but we have lots more chances, okay? And with Mars coming behind all of the personal planets, Mars is the activator. So each time one of these personal planets has squared Pluto, Mars will come in as the last personal planet to square Pluto. Thus, it will keep activating all of those earlier personal planets. So that was Venus square Pluto, the Sun square Pluto. 25th of April, the Sun squared Pluto. Now, on the 28th of April, Venus trined Pluto. So we've got a little bit of a mix, which is lovely. It's not just hardcore Pluto. We've got these trines from these personal planets as well. So Venus is trined Pluto. The next to trine Pluto will be Mercury on the 19th of May. Mercury trines Pluto. Now, Mars, as I said, as fast as Mars moves, Mars is at the back of the pack of the personal planets. And Mars will square Pluto on the 26th of May. So we've still got Mercury to square Pluto, the mind, the thinking, the penny dropping on the lesson we've learned. And we've got Mars squaring Pluto on the 26th of May. Take action, right? We can take action. Now, as Mars retrogrades, as I said, we've been over that area already. So it's time now for integration. It's going to retrograde back. And then I've got that on Saturday. I'll let you know that on Saturday, those dates, because I've got them written down there. So Mars squaring Pluto will be the last personal planet, okay, until we get into the oppositions. And the oppositions will start when Venus ingresses into Leo, and the Sun, and Mercury, and then Mars. But Jupiter will be in Leo as well. So we've got the squares and we're going to go into the oppositions. Now, because Pluto's retrograding, I'm putting Pluto front and center because it's Pluto's time to start mixing and working and delving and going deep, especially for the early degrees of the fixed signs or anybody who has stelliums in the fixed signs. So there we go. We've got squares to Pluto and we've got trines to Pluto. And the last trine to Pluto will be when Mars is in Gemini, and that'll be the 5th of July. So we're going all through May, June, into July, all right? But by the end of May, the squares will have finished, the trines will have finished, and we'll just wait for Mars to come along behind everybody and activate those degrees. All right, so I foresee myself starting to make more Pluto videos. As I said, the channel was built on Pluto challenging transits. Yes, because I have a 7 degrees descendant. So Pluto is at 5 degrees. It's going to retrograde at 5-ish degrees. And that's only 2 degrees away. It's in orb to opposing my ascendant, okay, which is in Leo. So I'm already feeling that energy. I'm ready to make a Venus. I'm ready to make an, Pluto oppose ascendant video because I'm getting it. And then I have Venus. So I'm already feeling that energy. Even though it's out of orb, they give it a 3 degrees orb with Pluto. However, we learnt, those of us who are cardinal signs, we learnt that Pluto's energy was there way, way before that 3 degrees. It's just takes time to understand energy and to be able to observe it in reality, Saturn energy. So this full moon in Scorpio, my heart goes out to you if you've been crying, if family issues come up, because when we say Pluto goes deep, right, nowhere does it say Pluto and Scorpio rules family, okay? No, we don't say that, but if as human beings, where is our deepest hurts? Where is our deepest shadows? They actually lay in our ancestry, in our DNA, because we have just passed on dysfunction after dysfunction after dysfunction all the way down the line. And what Pluto's here to do is to clean up that dysfunction because it's toxicity. It's toxic in the body, and it's also toxic when it's projected out onto others, those ancestral wounds. All right, so the deep work of Scorpio, I see it all the time. It's in regard to our family or our ancestral heritage. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? So it's Pluto time, everybody. Don't get too excited. But, you know, there's no need for fear, even though Pluto brings up fear. But he brings up fear so that it can be observed and integrated into that individual, all right? There's nothing to fear on this planet except fear alone. Oh, I'm just too funny. Yeah, so that's what's going on. I've got compassion for you. I too, you know, I haven't cried for a very long time. Even when I was crying, I knew that it was really not going to help anything because in a sense, my mind was being negative, you know, and I don't believe my mind. But at that time, it was in my body. Pluto's energy is deep. It's in the fascia of the body. It's in the bones. It's in the muscle tissue. It's in the organs, all right? And it becomes released as it's activated. It sits in the subconscious. Thank God, because you couldn't do all your Pluto work in one hit because you would probably want to die, okay? It's that painful. And, you know, I don't want to scare anyone about that pain, but I've felt that pain. And as a cold, icy Saturn ruled Capricorn, you know, I cried for 5 years more than 5 years, you know, but most of them, that's all gone now. But every time when there's a Pluto full moon, I still am reminded of the loss of my family, the loss of my powerlessness, because I was powerless. You know, Pluto is all about power, inner power, healthy power, right? And it's also about where are we giving our power away to others, which disempowers ourselves. All right, so I love you. I'll be back Saturday. Aren't we? 3 videos this week. Woo. Something's going on. Something's going on. Okay, high power, are we on a roll? I hope so, because there's been a lot of stop-starting with this channel, and only because I'm authentic. And if I'm processing, I'm processing. I'm not going to just bypass spiritually whatever I'm going through. I'm in the flow of the now moment, and if I can't bring it to you, I'm not going to push myself to bring it to you. But hopefully those days have gone, all right, and we can get some sort of consistency on this channel and, you know, get some of the other 950 subscribers, you know, able to see these videos, because I'm only sort of averaging 50 views, and that's just for the Saturday videos. So, you know, please help, and it's mainly, doesn't help me any really, except for I take my time out and I do my little bit of research and I bring this to you, you know, so please help me out, yeah, with some likes and comments or whatever, because that's how the algorithm works, all right? So thank you, everybody. Be aware, we've had Venus and the Sun, square Pluto, we've still got Mercury and Mars to go. Venus is just trined Pluto, and we've still got the Mercury and the Sun and the Mars to trine Pluto in May and then July. All right, so there's still lots happening, still lots of interesting transits coming up for us all to move forward on. But as Pluto retrogrades, know that we're implementing what we learn, integrating it into our body. All right, my friends, I love you. I'll see you Saturday, and thank you so very much. In a day and a half, that full moon will break. Once the energy's broken, I find once you process the energy. So I was right yesterday, which was Wednesday. So from Thursday on, I was grabbed by that energy of the full moon in Scorpio. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's all you got to do.